Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and welcome to a Pro Cycling Manager 2025 feature request video. This is an annual thing that I've been doing, and it fits right in with Cyanide's development schedule. This is the time where they're exploring what they need to do with the next edition. This is also a two-part special. First part is my 10 favorite upgrades that I would like to see coming in the Pro Cycling Manager series in the next edition or in future editions. Second part of this is down to you. Let me know in the comments below what 10 things you would like to see brought to Pro Cycling Manager. You can list multiple ones, but make sure whatever your key one is, whoever likes the most of those will formulate the list for the viewer request video. But with that, let's break down the 10 things I would like to see in Pro Cycling Manager 2025. Beginning at number 10. A peel off button. This would be an additional button on which your rider selections, such as effort or maintain position, the peel off button would be in that later stage of the game, or a stage when you are in a sprint train, having an additional button that allows the front rider to peel off, directly get out of the way of your oncoming riders and fall back, and then give you immediate control of that next rider down the line. One of the key issues with sprint trains is that as soon as you move on to the next rider, the rider that had been leading the train gets in the way, and they become an obstacle for you to get around. Either requiring you to quickly switch back to the front rider and manually pull them and yank them out of the way. Even just moving them to the back of the line often does not do enough. Coming in at number 9, scouting for over 18 riders. Currently, the system is based entirely around the 16, 17, 18-year-old incoming riders into the pool. And you go through that process, but as soon as they become 18, you know everything about everyone. That does exist to an extent with an 18 to 20-year-old range where you're still officially learning about the full potential of riders. But it's also deceptive the way that that's set up right now. And if you don't know the little nuances of it, it's easy to mistake a rider's potential that's artificial versus their actual potential. Having a system in place where you learn more about those riders after 18, developing that further with additional scouting done regionally in a complementary system to the scouting system that's already there. Coming in at number 8, I'd like to see the World Championships and the Euros expanded upon. First off, more nations in Worlds. I was told it was supposed to be dynamic, but it's not. It's unchanging. The same nations get the same number of riders year by year. And a nation that grows and develops and becomes number 1 over time could still just have the same 1 or 2 riders that it had, or not even be represented. A more dynamic, more nations represented, but also, in addition to having the Euros, it'd be really nice to have the Pan Americans. Additionally, I've heard from the modding community that the Worlds and Euros are impossible to edit. It'd be nice for the modding community if they were able to grow, develop, and alter those somehow, some way, more mod community friendly. Coming in at number 7 is just simply getting with the times. Introduce women's cycling to the sport. It's easy for a player when they go to enter to have a checkbox to select either the men's or the women's, or to have both within the world, and to manage a team that has both a men's and women's calendar going simultaneously would be really cool. At number 6, it's a really simple one. A notification, an email that lets me know when riders have leveled up. Frame it any way you want. It's one of your trainers letting you know that, hey, I've seen some really good things from so-and-so in training, aka code for the rider has leveled up. Additionally on that one, less necessary but would still be cool to see, is to understand the progress that they've made, to see how much development has occurred where those attribute points have been applied. Number 5, a training overhaul. Right now, training is simply assigning a trainer and telling them what to work on. I'd love to have sessions, some sort of staff relevance on how that is all built and structured. Some sessions may be only available as camps to make camps more relevant, because at this point, camps, the only purpose they really serve is if you're going to go to the Tour de France and you want to get a bonus race day condition on a handful of stages, but also more relevance within the relationships. Number 4, time gaps revamp. They tried it a couple years back, ditched it a couple weeks into the cycle. I'd like to see them try again. Right now, mountains are really good. Punchy stages occasionally get it right. Sprint stages really struggle. There should be some sort of cutoff point. In real life, 3K. But here, you can get separation 30K from the finish line and never have a group regain contact, finish a minute and a half behind on a sprint stage, and get the same time. At least for me, personally, as a player, the thing that drives me nuts the most playing the game. Number 3, feed zones. Right now, the Tour de France title, the system works great with getting the gels. I would love to see that system introduced to Pro Cycling Manager, or something a little more complex and developed, like the person who you send to get water is going back to the car and getting some sort of animation. One car following. You don't need a bunch of cars. One neutral car behind the peloton or motorcycle for a breakaway, and a rider going back there. Even a simple animation of them pulling alongside a vehicle. Something more complex would be great, but just a simple animation of pulling up alongside a vehicle would look really cool. But I really like the system in Tour de France where you have the introduction of a stamina and a resistance gel, and you get each one for a period of time. You go through a feed zone, it refills that, and then you have that for use once again. Currently, the gels in Pro Cycling Manager feel irrelevant. I use them on a regular basis. You don't feel the impact of them. You don't visibly see them really doing anything for you. So it'd be really nice to have that system improved upon. Number 2, revamping the signing period in August. Currently, as it stands, the dossier system, the points system, is a really good system. But I think a simple evolution of that system could go a long way to make the game more dynamic and the AI signing be more relevant to how you play the game. On August 1st, you only get 10 of those 60 points that you will eventually get. The other 50 points come one per day. Or, I know Pro Cycling Manager likes to use a week-by-week ticking of how things work, adding 7 points a week or 6 points a week until you will ultimately get to the 60 dossier points. What that will do is to force the player to make choices. Who do you want to get after first? Who do you want to spend 10 points on first? And then you have to compete with the AI for the signing of the other riders that are on your dossier list, that are on your short list, competing against the AI to get those signatures. But making the difficult decision to go after this rider or that rider and foregoing a rider temporarily, risking that the AI will sign them before you get a chance to, adds a lot more realism to how the market works in real life. Before getting to number 1, let's go over some honorable mentions. An equipment revamp would be nice. Not a total overhaul or anything along those lines. More detailed research or more information in general. Because when you go to sign your equipment sponsors, there is zero information given besides a name. Having something that tells you about how prestigious each one is, how effective each one is, even just a simple star rating next to each equipment supplier would go a long way to help the player know. Otherwise, it's largely a guessing game. Track cycling has been in the game for a long time. Some people play it, some people don't. But I would love to see cyclocross make an appearance in a similar manner, or into the core of the game as well. Would be really cool, but I would take it as a similar to track cycling approach. Sprint crashes. At this point, crashes happen mid-race, early in a stage. We never see them in the final kilometers. Be really cool to see crashes, especially on sprints, as it's a common occurrence when everybody's given that last-ditch full gas effort. And that brings us to number 1. It's a big one. I know it would take a lot of time, money, and effort from the Cyanide team, but it's time. It's due. It's been well over a decade since we've seen this current engine introduced. It's due for an upgraded engine. Now, of course, anyone following the world of sports management games know that another major title has gone through that exact process right here, right now, and have seen delays of not only the regular yearly release, but it was supposed to be released a full year prior, and the delays pushed it back a full year, and now a half year on top of that. So I know it's tough, I know it's challenging, but this is a title that is a bit behind on the graphics, and clearly the engine is giving what it can give. It's only a matter of time, but that is my number 1 request. I would love to see an upgraded engine for Pro Cycling Manager. That's going to do it for my top 10 list of features I would like to see brought to Pro Cycling Manager either in 2025 or in the near future. Let me know in the comments below. Do you agree with my list? What different things would you like to see? By the way, this is my 3rd year doing this list. And in the first year, a couple of those things did make it into the game that next year. Last year, 5 features. 5 features between my top 10 list and your top 10 list made it into the game. Somebody's watching. So if you're watching, make sure you leave your comment below. Click like on those features that you would also like to see, whether it's in agreement to the ones that I have stated or if they are some of your own. If you would prefer, one of the best ways to do it besides making a full list, make additional comments. If you have a few suggestions, make a few comments to split those up. It's a lot easier to identify what the favorite features would be listed by the community. We're going to give it a handful of days, and then I will be making the feature requests from the viewers here soon. I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you next time. Have a good one. Be safe out there. Bye for now.